We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Thank you very much. It is 3 minutes after 8 o'clock, 76 degrees here at the Paddock Mall, and nice looking day out there. There's about a 20% chance that we'll see some rain today. I think that's what they say every day. And then later on it becomes 40%. Galen Unold is on the phone from Life South to remind us of the importance of donating blood. And good morning, Galen. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Larry. Robin, how are you?
Pretty good. Where are you right now?
I'm at home. I'm hanging out with Mike from Kim Drive. I was coming in to clean my carpets today. So.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
So I want to talk about commutes because you have a rather long commute every day.
I do. Distance-wise, not time-wise, but yeah, distance-wise.
And Robin just reminded me. This segment with Galen Unold from Life South is sponsored by... Thank goodness you remind me, Robin. Sponsored by Penn Flooring, providing quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Stop in and visit the spacious showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Go in there and say, you know, that guy almost forgets every single day. Almost everything.
You know, it's funny. As I was talking to Dan Martone yesterday, and he's like, Larry's starting to figure this out. He's reading the card. He's taking a break at 15 minutes. I'm like, compared to before you guys took over and we would just talk randomly for over an hour sometimes, it's a lot more structured.
Larry's starting to figure it out. I like that line. Larry's starting to figure it out.
It's only been since 1984. What can I say?
I'm finally getting it. After all these years.
But you're not the most, clocks don't mean that much to you on the radio.
No, I'm not a clock guy.
And I'm not, I don't help.
I don't own a wristwatch.
I don't help you at all because that's when I have my best lines is right before you go to break.
That's right.
See, that's right. Sometimes people ask me, how come you don't own a wristwatch? I say, because you do.
That's right.
There you go.
I don't need one.
That's a pretty good line. I'm gonna have to remember that one. That may be the best joke you've ever told.
Wow! Holy mackerel!
That's pretty funny.
Let me write it down. All right. So before we talk about commutes, because I guess I don't know how interesting this is going to be. We'll find out. But how's the blood supply?
Again, we really need. We're still. Transfusing more than we're drawing, and that's just a problem. So we need everybody to come out and donate, regardless of blood type now. So we are in emergency need of O and AB, but we are in critical need of just about everything else. So if you have blood in your veins, please come in and donate.
There you go. By the way, I think Congress and our government is transfusing more than they're drawing.
Oh, yeah.
They've been doing that for years. They've been doing that for years.
They don't stop.
So we were talking about the commute to the moon that day.
That's a pretty long one. That's probably... but can you call that a commute? Because, you're working the whole time you're there. So you're not working to get where you're going.
I guess so. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're working.
You know what I mean? You're working to get where you're going, whereas most commutes are you're driving to get to your work. So.
Yeah, I guess so. But there's a certain amount. You could argue.
Like a bicyclist, right? Like a bicyclist.
Their
commute, they're working to get to the end. So.
But if you take the bus to work, or a taxi cab, or even a train, somebody is driving, and that's their job.
Yeah.
Right, and so therefore it's not a commute.
For them. But for you it is because you're a passenger.
Yeah, fair enough.
So if you're in a carpool and you're not driving, then you're not working yet. But the guy driving is working already.
That's right. Like the pilot of the airplane is working, so it's not his commute.
That's right.
All right, so I have in minutes, not in miles, but in minutes, the mean time, MEAN time, that it takes to commute I guess. I don't know if the
And the difference between medium and mean, Larry, you're going to explain now.
Boy, I don't know. See, I don't know if that I don't know if that means average or the middle point.
Mean is the average number. It's not necessarily the average, but it's the average number, right? And medium is the middle number.
Okay.
Or am I getting that reversed? I don't know.
No, median
that was
is
a
the
joke. I was hoping you would answer. I didn't think you would turn that back on me.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know. Okay, when we're talking about the price of houses, the median price of a house is the middle price, not the average price.
Right. That's correct.
But
That's correct.
So I don't know what mean actually means.
You know, if there's a bunch of kids who are still in school going, "You guys are idiots. How do you not know that?"
Yeah,
it's like because it's only practical if you're taking the FCAT. After that, it's absolutely useless information.
Okay, good point. So I'll tell you the number one, but then I'm going to go down to number 20 because number one is easy to figure out. It's New York.
All right.
In New York, the mean time for the commuters up there, and there are 4,144,000 of them, 39.2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
So how long does it take you to commute from your house to your job in Gainesville?
Minute time-wise, it's about 51 minutes.
So your mean time is already longer than the average New Yorker.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know what's crazy is that the one in New York, it's, I guess if they're counting everybody who's coming from Long Island, right?
And anywhere, Jersey, yeah.
Jersey, Long Island, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think from Merrick. Now, Merrick is only like 20-something miles from Madison Square Garden. I can't remember. In other words, where I grew up. So it's not that far. But it was like an hour on the train.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and that's just it. I don't know how many of those are in a car versus in a rail. You know, whether it's subway or train or...
Yeah, I would imagine this is a mix of all of them. So let me get on to number 20. Portland, Oregon is at number 20.
Really?
Yeah. Their mean time is 24 minutes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That would have been, I would have never guessed Portland. Because, I mean, Houston's got a long one. You know, Baltimore, D.C.'s got a horrific one.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're higher on the list.
L.A., San Diego. Yeah, all right.
But this is not, I hope it didn't confuse you. Portland is not number 2. It's number 20. It's down on the list. It's the best one on the list. Yeah, number 20.
Oh, it's the best one. Number 20 is the best.
Number 20, the best one on this
list.
list.
I thought you said 2. I'm sorry. You said 20.
Yeah, okay.
For Portland. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I started with New York because I knew everybody would guess that. So, anyway, number 9.
I wouldn't have put New York in the top 5, but okay.
Oh, really?
All right, now I know. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have. So, because I was thinking it was a car commute, not necessarily just an overall commute.
I would say it's overall.
Right, it sounds like it. Okay.
It says 7.9% of the people in Portland commute at least an hour, even though 24.3 is the mean time.
Gosh.
I guess they just live outside the city. The thing is there's just not that many people in Portland. Right? There's just over a million people in Portland.
I don't know. It says 398,000 workers. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes it to about a million people.
Yeah.
So Fort Worth, Texas is number 19 on the list.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Okay.
Denver, Colorado is 18. Orlando is number 17. Orlando has
yeah, it's because of the sprawl. It's just horrible.
8.5% of the commuters in Orlando travel more than an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they don't live there.
I agree with that.
Some of them come from here too, right?
That's right.
Well, how long did Ronnie work in Orlando?
Oh, gosh, off and on, probably 20 years, I imagine.
My goodness, 20 years. Wow. And how long was his commute when he went to Orlando?
I think it was about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yikes. Every day.
Yeah. A lot of tolls.
Yeah.
Or going on 27, which is horrific. You know, because if you got to go through Leesburg and, you got to go the Turnpike.
You have to go the Turnpike. You can't go Leesburg.
It's just not worth the effort.
So do I need if I drive back to New York, Robin, you would know this because you were just there. Do I need to, I mean, they don't have coin tolls anymore. That's what I heard.
No, you have to go and put your money or your credit card or debit card in a machine, and then you get a plastic transportation card, and then you load it up with however much money you want. And
Wow.
you take it goes on buses.
So where do you get that?
Subways.
Just like the Sun Pass. And it's just like the Sun Pass. I mean, the toll booths are going away.
It's at all the subway stations or all
But I
the
mean, the
train
first
stations.
time you get to a toll booth, what do you do if you don't have one? The first time. Like, let's say I'm driving to New York. I'm doing
There
what
were
I used to do
people
as a kid.
They had a toll booth with people.
Oh, they do?
And then,
Okay.
And then the New Jersey Transit has like their equivalent to a Sun Pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had people and they had a Sun Pass.
So they make it easy for the people coming in from out of town.
Yeah.
Who don't know. Okay.
There's real people there in the toll booths because we went through some with the Sun Pass, but the booths next door had real people in them.
We don't have any tolls in Ocala.
Not yet.
Not yet. Can you imagine? On Silver Springs Boulevard?
yet.
Oh, my gosh.
Pittsburgh is number 16. San Jose is number 15. Dallas, Texas is 14. Detroit is 13. Houston, Seattle, Atlanta is number 10. Let me stop on that one for a
Yeah,
second.
I mean, I'll tell you, I've driven in all of those cities. I think Houston, Seattle, Atlanta, obviously. But the thing about Atlanta traffic is if you're going the wrong direction on the wrong street, you're just not moving. And that's the hard part. If there's a saying in Atlanta that you don't go anywhere between 4:30 and 6, unless you're going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, right.
So and going around, the inner loop there, inside of 285. If you're staying inside of 285 between 4:30 and 6:30, you just want to shoot yourself.
So let's
horrible.
Let's compare notes just for a second here. When I used to travel to the colleges a lot, I had this theory that it's better to get stuck in a traffic jam in a city that is used to traffic jams than a city that's not used to them. Because the city, Ocala is not really used to traffic jams. I hate getting in a traffic jam here.
Yeah.
But in Atlanta or in New York or in D.C., everybody says, well, this happens. You put your radio on, you get through it.
Twofold. It's twofold. As one, the drivers can deal with it better, right, because they're accustomed to it. Secondly, if you are going somewhere or you're going to meet someone or you have a time, it's acceptable in Atlanta to be 20 minutes late. It's hard.
Okay.
For me, I'm a time. I can't stand being late. But it's not uncommon for people to be 20 minutes late, and you're like, look, I got stuck on 285.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're like, well, yeah, you probably did. And then my answer is you should have left earlier. But, that's just not always the case. So you can just get – I mean, they have 3 different spaghetti junctions in the Atlanta metro area. So – it's crazy. But if you're here, if I show up somewhere here 20 minutes late in Ocala and I say, well, I got stuck in traffic, people are going to go like, what? I didn't hear about that.
You know what I mean? I didn't hear about it.
Yeah.
All right. We're ready. Let me take a little break and we'll be back. I just got a compliment for not missing these things, and I missed one already. All right, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my
too.
seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right, 18 minutes after 8 o'clock, and Galen Unold is on the phone from Life South, and of course he comes on the air with us each morning to remind us of the importance of donating blood, and he's already expressed that there's a real need right now. They're using more than they're getting, so we need to step up to the plate and help out a little bit. But on the fun side of things, we're talking about the commutes in this country. We're up to number 10. The 10th worst commute is Atlanta, Georgia. Number 9 is Miami.
Okay.
You know, I will tell you, I think the Atlanta commute's much, much worse than the Miami commute.
Really?
Yeah, but the difference is people probably drive farther in Miami because they're coming from Fort Lauderdale or West Palm or, Sunrise or all those other outside areas.
Yeah, 12.
Right? It's probably a further drive and therefore more time.
12% of Miami commuters travel more than an hour.
Yeah, time-wise, I believe that. I'm just saying traffic-wise.
Oh, okay.
It's not bad when you're moving in traffic. It's bad when you're stopped. And every day that I drive in Atlanta on a Monday through Friday, during rush hour, I am stopped. Where you come to a complete and utter standstill. Never come to a complete and utter standstill from when I've worked in Miami and places like that.
One of the worst traffic accidents, well, how to say this, one of the worst multiple car traffic accidents that I had ever seen was in Miami. I was in morning rush hour traffic. It was on like dead stop. The emergency vehicles were flying past us, and when we finally got to the place where the accident was, it wasn't one, it was several. They were all it seemed like they were separated from one another. Like they weren't all part of the same accident. I mean, it was just a crumpled car, and then a few yards later, another crumpled car. I mean, like 20, I want to say a few, like 20 or 30 yards. And 20 or 30 yards, another crumpled car. It's like, holy mackerel, what happened?
Reaction.
What the heck happened here? Just crazy.
Yeah.
And all, by the way, over the crest of a hill. So they all must have been flying, didn't see something, and boom, right? Jeez.
Yep, that's exactly right.
All right, that was Miami. Baltimore's number 8.
Horrible. I hated it. And going between Baltimore and D.C. and D.C. between Baltimore and it's torture. I've been, I lived there for a year, and it's much worse than Atlanta. I'm surprised it's not higher up. That D.C., unless they have D.C. in a different level.
D.C.
Baltimore.
D.C.
is just horrific.
They did separate
it. It's just horrific. Oh.
L.A. is number 7, the worst commutes. Boston is number 6.
Boston, again, you're not usually stopped, right? I mean, now that they got the dig done, the bridges and everything else and the tunnels, there's multiple ways to get in now, so it's not as bad.
Speaking of multiple ways, let me ask you your opinion. My opinion has always been, if it's a longer way, but I'm more likely to keep moving, I'll take it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, the frustration is when you're not moving.
Right.
I mean, if there's a lot of traffic and you're going, 45 miles, but you're going 65 miles an hour, that's not that bad. You'll take that all day long.
Well, sometimes it actually takes longer to take the more fluid way.
Sure it does.
Because even though it feels like you're taking forever in stop-and-go traffic, you sometimes do get there quicker.
Yeah.
All right, and I got a great app because I know you're a huge technology guy, Larry. It's called Waze.
Well, I'm a huge guy.
WAZE. And if you are taking a drive and you use that app, it tells you everything from road construction to, and it's used by different users, so it's purely a social GPS type system. It tells you where cops are. It's absolutely phenomenal. So
does it tell you which parking lots are empty?
It could probably.
Oh,
I mean, they probably have a feature. No, that's not true, Larry. But no, it tells you all kinds of things.
We saw that. Didn't we see that?
The app?
It's called Waze. WAZE.
Okay. What I say? LA's number 7, Boston's number 6, San Francisco's number 5, the District of Columbia, DC, number 4.
Now, if you combine Baltimore and DC together, that would be, to me, it's the worst traffic I've ever lived in or ever dealt with on a regular basis. So, I've dealt with traffic for, weeks at a time in different places. And in Baltimore, DC, there's no comparison. There's none.
The mean traffic time, commute time is a half hour, and 25% of the commuters in DC travel more than an hour.
I used to, twice a week I would have to drive from Ellicott City to Roanoke. And, not Roanoke, Fairfax. I'm sorry, Fairfax. And it would take me anywhere between, if I left and got on the interstate before 7 o'clock, it would take me 15 minutes. If I got there after 7 o'clock, it would take me an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. So
that was the difference.
So you knew how to time it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I learned. Yeah, but it was horrific. And then you put into a holiday weekend, just forget it. I mean, just absolutely forget it. It's just was torture. I hated it. I hated that drive.
And the last 3, New York being the number 1, but Philadelphia is number 3.
Yeah, I never considered Philly that bad, but there's so many of those outlier towns that people just feed into that's probably a lot of stop and go traffic.
And so you probably could guess Chicago's number 2.
I thought that would be high on the list, but it's not nearly as bad as Baltimore, D.C. I would put Atlanta above Chicago. I would put my ranking would be Baltimore, D.C. number 1, Atlanta 2, Houston 3, San Diego, L.A. area. Because somehow that traffic's connected. I've never quite figured that out.
You think they're connected? That's pretty far.
It is, but it's amazing how something that happens up in L.A. can filter all the way down because of, the interstate and all. I don't know. I've always been, because when you listen to traffic in that part of the world, they talk about L.A. and San Diego, right? It's just ridiculous.
I don't know.
So,
I used to work there too, and I used to have the traffic we're talking about, and it was like any other big city. It's just like, well, this is what we do, and here's how we get there, and it's just part of the thing. It's like getting on a train that's going to stop at every stop.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Yeah, you have to adjust to it.
Good morning. You're on the air.
I-5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, good morning, guys, again. See, I know why Milwaukee's not on that list.
Why?
Well, we got not only a lot of taverns, but we got a lot of tree zones.
That's good. A tree zone is a good thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's comfortable in the tree zone.
Yeah, thank you.
You got to remember. I mean, you got to go where there are lots and lots of people, right?
Well, do you know
there are a lot of people in Milwaukee?
Can I speculate about Milwaukee just for a second? Because Milwaukee sounds like a really nice town. So I speculate that the commute reference in this case is not here because people live in the city.
Yeah, that's correct.
So they actually like their city.
They live downtown. They walk to work every day, right?
Yeah, so that's what I think. I think it's one of those cities that people actually like living in. So there's no reason to live outside of it. So there's maybe not as much commute. I don't know. Am I wrong, Robin?
A lot of people from the suburbs will commute into the city, but it's only like 15 miles, and you hit the bus.
Yeah,
there aren't subways or anything. You get on the city bus. Because the University of Wisconsin is there in Milwaukee. A lot of students live in the suburbs, and they commute every day.
It's like Seattle's not on the list. Seattle's not on the list. And
Seattle's not it's not there's just not that bad traffic. And there's not that many people there. I mean, there's not, what is there, like 2 million people in Seattle? Less than that?
It's interesting. Tampa is not on the list. Tampa's not.
I'm not surprised. Tampa's not that bad to me. Orlando's always been much worse for me than Tampa.
Well,
And again, it's where people are. The number of people are just, that's what drives all of this, so.
Yeah, but Tampa has their rush hour. My son lived there, my daughter lives there, and they had this window to go. But if, like, my son would go 15 minutes to work, and if he missed the window, it would take him 45 minutes to an hour to go the same distance. So Tampa has
They have
traffic.
a window. Oh, they have traffic, but it's worse in Orlando.
So if you have a broken rate, well, this is not now. But anyway, back a long time ago, I guess in New York, when nobody had air conditioners in their car, hardly anybody.
No.
You didn't have to have a radio that worked. If you were in Brooklyn, for example, on the Belt Parkway, going nowhere, just sitting there, you could just roll down your window. You hear somebody's radio.
Yeah, same thing with Wisconsin too. No air conditioning up there.
Some people listening to the radio out there.
Yeah, you had air conditioning in Florida, or you were going to die.
Yeah. All right, Robin, we need a segue from commutes to donating blood.
Well, anybody that commutes, they really love their job and they love life, and that's what happens with Life South Community Blood Centers. A lot of the personnel that work at Life South do commute there so they can help save a life.
Thank you, Robin.
Galen included. Isn't it weird?
right.
You commute from Ocala to Gainesville. And yesterday we had a lady who commutes from Gainesville to Ocala.
Yeah.
That happened.
Every day you're passing her. So every day.
Yeah.
Somewhere on that highway.
She should get on the Waze app, and then we could do a map chat while we're driving. Hey, and just so you know, Seattle only has 600,000 people in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So, I mean, that tells you the size. And that's the thing. There just aren't that many people out there. It's cold and rainy, and it's way out in the middle of nowhere.
And they're sleepless, I hear. I hear they're sleepless.
Yes,
All
very
right,
much.
and where's the Bloodmobile today?
Bloodmobile today, Larry, is at the Walmart in Dunellen.
All right, the Walmart in Dunellen.
That's right.
Yes.
If you can't, which by the way sits on the city line, which means that if you go through the lingerie department, you'll see the sign that says you are now leaving Dunellen.
That's right.
If you can't get there, then you can go on Silver Springs Boulevard and donate blood right next door to the Cascades. And in Dunellen, besides the Walmart, where would you go, Rob?
Right next door to Winn-Dixie.
Winn-Dixie.
Which is not that far from Walmart.
That's right.
Over there. And during the weekend, is the Bloodmobile out there anywhere?
Yeah. We are going to be, this weekend, we'll be at a couple of different places, including the Walmart out on 200. So that's really going to be the main
by
spot.
484.
So is Mike cleaning your carpets yet?
Yeah, he's been doing it since 8 o'clock. He does a phenomenal job. I've networked with him since like the 90s, I think. But he's a good dude.
Gosh, and you're still in
So
your
if you
30s.
need your carpets cleaned, call.
All right, Ken, you have a great weekend, and thank you for all you do.
All right, you guys are the best. Thanks, Sean.
All right, fun topic. All right, we'll take. I turned the wrong one off. All right, we'll take a little break and be right back with News Bites after Fox News.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. At least 181 bodies located so far at the crash site of Malaysia Air Flight 17, according to a Ukrainian official. This as we learn more about who was on board.
298 people died from at least 10 countries, including a number of top AIDS researchers who were heading to a conference in Australia. Malaysia Airlines saying 173 were Dutch nationals.
Fox Radio's Simon Owen. Ukraine and separatist rebels each denying responsibility for the crash. Israeli troops are pushing deeper into Gaza to go after rocket launching sites and tunnels.
Since the ground incursion got underway, there have been 64 rocket attacks that have been launched. And as for the death toll, one Israeli soldier has been killed, along with 22 Palestinians.
Fox's David Lee Miller. Fox News. We report, you decide.
There's more to Fox News Radio than meets the ear. Go behind the headlines and join the conversation on the hottest stories of the day on the Fox News Radio Facebook page. Be a part of the Fox News Radio Facebook fan community. Post comments and tell us your opinions. See behind-the-scenes photos and videos and post your reactions to the stories that matter to you. Click the like button on Facebook and connect with breaking news and features like Fox in the Fast Lane, House Call for Help, and more. Go to facebook.com/Fox News Radio.
Weeknights, we're busting out a brand new lineup. First, market fraud, government abuse, corruption. At 5, nothing's off limits on money with Melissa Francis. Then, from bloated bank fees to consumer scams. At 6, Jerry's exposing the issues impacting your wallet. Plus, get smart market insight and trusted analysis you won't find anywhere else. At 7, Lou Dobbs is all business. And the first and last name in business, Cavuto, shedding light on the biggest stories making headlines at 8. Only on the Fox Business.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. With today's sunshine mixing with clouds, watch out for a thunderstorm, especially this afternoon over interior sections, the high 88 to 92, then partly cloudy tonight, though 71 to 75. Tomorrow, times of clouds and sun with a thunderstorm or two in the area. With the interior places, it'll be just in the afternoon hours, the high 88 to 92. For Sunday, clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
How good does it get?
Golf has long been considered to be sport's most prestigious game, and WOCA has your connection to everything in the golf world. Every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m., tune in for Let's Talk Golf with your host, PGA professional and teacher to the stars, Jim Beckett, and operations manager for the links of Spruce Creek South, Darren Irwin, right here on The Source.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
Hey Gator fans, you know what that means. Football season is just about here, and there'll be life in the swamp again soon. Catch my reports all week from the SEC Media Days on The Source. And cheer up, for crying out loud.
WOCA, News Talk 1370, where News Talk is our business, and business is good. Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
Minutes before 9 o'clock, it's time for News Bites. This is the portion of AM Ocala Live where we take the news from the different news agencies and we read an abbreviated version of the news that is being reported from the different agencies. We will tell you the agency we're getting the news from so that you can look online and read the detailed story for yourself. I don't really have a full story on this, but currently there's a news conference going on about the downed Malaysian Airlines, and if an actual news article is published, I'll be sure to get it out there for you. All right, so let me begin. with this first story. I guess this is associated with that story. This is from the Associated Press. In an almost incomprehensible twist of fate, an Australian woman who lost her brother in the disappearance of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 learned this morning that her stepdaughter was on the plane that was shot down over Ukraine. Wow. Kayleen Mann's brother, Rod Burrows, and sister-in-law, Mary Burrows, were on board Flight 370 when it vanished in March. This morning, she found out that her stepdaughter, Marie Risk, was killed, along with 297 others on the Malaysian Airlines Flight 17, which U.S. intelligence authorities believe was shot down by a surface-to-air missile. How horrible is that? This lady lost a family member in the plane that was lost at Flight 370 and now on Flight 17, both Malaysian Airlines.
Oh, my. Senators yesterday demanded to know why General Motors did not fire its top lawyer after it was revealed this year that the automaker's litigation department knew of a widespread and deadly ignition flaw, and they failed to escalate the safety issue. GM Chief Executive Mary Barra defended General Counsel Michael Milliken as a man of incredibly high integrity during the Senate Commerce Subcommittee hearing, at which both appeared. But senators said Milliken should be held responsible for lower-level lawyers who for years worked on private lawsuits that involved deadly crashes in which a vehicle's ignition switch could slip out of position, causing the car to stall, disabling the airbags, power steering, and power brakes, reported by Reuters.
And this next story is from CNN. Deadly clashes broke out after Israeli tanks drove into Gaza and launched a ground operation that further escalates the conflict with Hamas. The military is prepared to widen the offensive, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said this morning. He told a cabinet meeting that he instructed the Israel Defense Forces to prepare for the possibility of a significant expansion of the ground operation. The incursion yesterday evening follows 10 days of Israeli bombardment of Gaza that has killed more than 250 people. Israel launched the ongoing aerial offensive last week, saying it aimed to halt the firing of Hamas rockets from Gaza into Israel. Our forces launched a ground operation in order to destroy tunnels penetrating into Israel from the Gaza Strip, was a statement from Netanyahu. 13 Hamas militants had used a tunnel yesterday to launch an attempted attack in Sufa near the Israeli kibbutz, but were stopped by Israeli soldiers, according to a statement from the Defense Force.
A Monroe County Circuit judge has overturned the state's constitutional ban on gay marriage, though the ruling is a limited one. The ruling from Judge Louis Garcia affects only Monroe County, which covers the Florida Keys. Judge Garcia's ruling came in a suit that contended that the state ban on same-sex marriage violated the U.S. Constitution's guarantee of equal protection under the law. The judge said that licenses in Monroe County could be issued as early as next week. That, however, will not be the case if the state attorney general has her way. Pam Bondi has reportedly set the machinery for an appeal in motion, or may have already begun filing an appeal seeking to prevent any marriage license from being dispensed. Bondi contends that only the state has the authority to define marriage. She contends that it is upheld by the state constitutional amendment that defines marriages between one man and one woman, reported by the Florida News Network.
From the Associated Press, an Italian appeals court this morning acquitted former Premier Silvio Berlusconi in a sex-for-hire case, reversing a lower court conviction that had carried a 7-year prison sentence and a lifetime ban on holding political office. The case revealed details of raunchy, sex-fueled bunga parties at his private villa attended by a bevy of aspiring showgirls. The prosecution had alleged that Berlusconi had paid for sex with an underage prostitute, and then, using his influence to cover it up, he denied the charges. Acquittal came just as Berlusconi was leaving a facility for Alzheimer's patients where he is performing a sentence of community service in a separate tax fraud conviction. That is the only case finalized against Berlusconi, who faces dozens of trials, mostly for his business dealings.
The Bureau of Prisons has rejected the Army's request to accept the transfer of National Security leader Private Chelsea Manning from a military prison. So the military will begin treatment for her gender identity condition. A defense official said Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel has approved the Army's recommendation to keep Manning in military custody and start a rudimentary level of gender treatment. The Army tried to get Manning transferred to the federal prison system, but officials said those discussions have ended, reported by the Las Vegas Sun.
And from CNS News, House Speaker John Boehner indicated that if President Barack Obama takes actions that exceed his constitutional authority, the House of Representatives has no plans to use its own constitutional authority to withhold funding from those actions. At his weekly press briefing, reporters asked Boehner, "You've said you disagree with calls to impeach the president over abuse of power via executive actions, but under the Constitution, the House actually has the power of the purse. So if the president takes actions that exceed his constitutional authority, will you withhold funding for those actions in the next must-pass appropriations bill?" House Speaker John Boehner replied that he did not see Congress doing so.
Health officials in South Florida say they can confirm that 2 people in that region have become the first to get the mosquito-borne illness chikungunya from a local vector. Authorities say there have been several cases reported, but until now that have been associated with people who got the virus outside the U.S. Health Department. Officials say the Florida cases are in Miami-Dade and Palm Beach counties. The victims appear to have no connection to each other. Health Department authorities say the most likely explanation for this is the fact that people already infected with the virus outside of Florida were bitten by mosquitoes once they returned here. The local mosquitoes picked up the disease, and upon biting the new Florida patients, they infected them. This means the disease is now inside Florida, though it is all but impossible to say whether it will become as prevalent as other mosquito-borne infections here. Health officials say chikungunya is rarely fatal, though its symptoms can linger for months or even years, reported by the Florida News Network.
And from CNN, after former President George W. Bush had to cancel an upcoming speech at a conference because of knee surgery, Hillary Clinton has agreed to speak instead. Politico's Maggie Haberman, who's also a political analyst for CNN, reports that Mrs. Clinton will speak at the Ameriprise Financial Conference in Boston next week as Bush recovers from a second partial knee replacement surgery he had last weekend in Chicago. He had surgery on his other knee in May. Clinton has been active on the paid speaking circuit since she stepped down from her post as Secretary of State last year, and she considers a 2016 presidential bid. We are up against the clock, so we'll need to take a little break, and we will be back with more news bites after this. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Hi, I'm Angie Lewis, and I'm a huge college football fan. That's why the Angie Lewis State Farm Insurance Agency is proud to sponsor Buddy Martin's SEC Media Days report, live from Hoover, Alabama. When it comes to football, Buddy is the expert. When it comes to insuring your future, I'm the expert. Call me, Angie Lewis, at 291-2444, or drop by our new location on Fort King Street in the beautiful Historic District. And good luck to your team.
This is Randy Briggs of the Briggs Law Firm. My son Bo and I are 5th and 6th generation Ocala natives and have been helping accident victims for over 39 years. That's why we are proud to be a sponsor of Ocala's Buddy Martin and his SEC Media Day reports, live from Hoover, Alabama. For SEC football information, tune in to Buddy. If you or a friend need help with an accident claim, call us at the Briggs Law Firm, 671-4600.
Sign up for this year's Marion County Heart Walk and be part of a local movement that's helping others live longer, healthier lives. Join me, Corey Poole, your 2014 Marion County Heart Walk Chairman, and walk with me on Saturday, October the 4th at the Baseline Road Trailhead. It's a free event promoting physical activity and heart-healthy living. To find out how you can help fight the #1 killer of all Americans, visit us online at marionheartwalk.org.
Hey everybody, this is Kelly Hart, your new host of the Ocala Magazine radio show. Join me every Friday at 10 a.m. when we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life with in-depth interviews from and about your community. So don't miss Marion County's favorite city magazine, Ocala Magazine, every Friday at 10 a.m. right here on 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source.
Thank you, Dan. 13 minutes now before 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Friday morning. The next story on News Bites is from talk show host Kim Commando. She has issued a news release regarding the answer to the question as to why commercial airliners do not come equipped with anti-missile technology. She says the answer is simple. It's the cost. Large aircraft infrared countermeasures, also known as LAIRC, are installed on Air Force cargo planes and tankers and even Air Force One. They jam missile guidance systems like the one in the Buke, B-U-K. Without guidance, the rockets have next to no chance of hitting their targets. Unfortunately, they're very expensive. A chilling quote from an Air Force officer soon after the Mombasa incident, which was already 12 years ago, said, quote, that's more than $5 million per plane. That, according to an Air Force officer at the time. He says, once the first U.S. commercial airliner is shot down, the U.S. airlines rush to install these systems on their own planes. The price will drop to $2 million or $3 million per plane.
The United Nations is investigating how 20 rockets ended up in one of its vacant schools in Gaza, which are closed for summer vacation. The rockets were found on Tuesday during a regular inspection by the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees of its facilities, but information about the find was released only yesterday. The UN agency runs over 200 schools in the Gaza Strip, which service over 230,000 pupils. Spokesman Christopher Gunnis is quoted as saying UNRWA strongly condemns the group or groups responsible for placing the weapons in one of its installations. This is a flagrant violation of the inviolability of its premises under international law, reported by the Jerusalem Post.
And from Fox News, the ongoing investigation of former CIA Director David Petraeus is perplexing and suspicious, according to a leading Republican on the House Government Oversight Committee. After sending a letter and questioning Attorney General Eric Holder twice and former FBI Director Robert Mueller once about the probe, Representative Jason Chavetz, a Republican from the state of Utah, told Holder in a new letter this week, quote, I find the timeline to be increasingly perplexing and suspicious. I urge the department to move forward with this investigation in an expeditious and prudent manner, unquote. Chavetz also told Gretchen Carlson on Fox News' The Real Story on Wednesday that the open investigation may have a chilling effect on the probe by the new Benghazi Select Committee.
Visitors to an aquarium in Newquay, England became the attraction after they turned up naked as part of a nudist festival. The 10 bare-bottom guests walked around the Blue Reef Aquarium in Cornwall wearing nothing but their backpacks and sandals scandals as part of this year's Nude Fest. Despite the center being a family attraction, no unsuspecting members of the public seem to have gotten an eyeful of the nudists. That is because Nude Fest is a well-established and hugely popular event in the naturist calendar, and the public at large is well aware of the fact that they may encounter unclothed people. As well as viewing the sharks, stingrays, and other underwater life at the aquarium, the nudists also enjoyed scuba diving and fishing during their week-long stay at the nearby New Perrin Holiday Park. Blue Reef Aquarium allows naked visitors once a year to celebrate Nude Fest, reported by Metro. Yeah. Get that over here.
From CBS News, surviving a life-threatening illness or injury may be more likely if you're treated at a busy emergency department instead of one that handles fewer patients, according to a new study. Researchers analyzed data on 17.5 million emergency room patients treated at nearly 3,000 hospitals across the United States. The overall risk of death in the hospital was 10% lower among those who initially went to the busiest emergency departments rather than to the least busy ones. It's too early to say that based on these results, patients and first responders should change their decision about which hospital to choose in an emergency, according to the study's lead author, Dr. Keith Kocher, an assistant professor of emergency medicine at the University of Michigan Medical School.
New York State has released a first draft of its much-anticipated plan to regulate Bitcoin and other virtual currencies. And at first look, they look like they were written for the 19th century banking industry, not the modern fast-changing world of cryptocurrencies. The guy responsible for the rules, Benjamin Lawsky, has a fine line to walk. Bitcoin, after all, came of age as a lubricant for illegal activity on the Silk Road. But today, a new generation of Bitcoin startups are coming of age with millions of dollars in backing from legitimate venture capital companies. Is New York about to drive these startups out of town by clubbing them with onerous regulations before they can walk? Quite possibly. The New York regulations introduce a new level of reporting rules that cover a wider swath of businesses and require more work than the current federal guidelines, reported by Wired.
From CNN, after wreaking damage on the Philippines over Tuesday and Wednesday, a newly identified typhoon Ramasun is bearing down on Hainan and Guangdong provinces in southern China. The storm, which was downgraded as it passed over the Philippines, gained strength again over the South China Sea and is now battering Hainan with its inner eye wall hanging onto the island's coast, now categorized by the China Meteorological Administration as a super typhoon. Ramasun made landfall on the island province of Hainan at around 1:30 p.m., which was 1:30 a.m. our time. This morning, after veering westward, super typhoons are categorized as having sustained winds of 150 miles per hour or higher.
Last week, Tallahassee Circuit Judge Terry Lewis decided state lawmakers need to redraw some of the lines on the state's congressional map. Now he has to figure out when. The League of Women Voters says that the fix should take place before the election, but lawyers for the legislature and the election supervisors say there's not enough time. Judge Lewis admits he never expected this to be an issue. He says he thought the legal battle would still be underway. This is his quote: "When I issued my order, I thought surely one side or the other would appeal. So it didn't really occur to me to start thinking about what to do with the 2014 election." Lawyers for the legislature say they can't change district lines now because the election has already begun. Some of the first absentee ballots from members of the military have already been returned, reported by the Florida News Network.
And from the Bloomberg Report, as other Republicans travel the country laying the groundwork for 2016 presidential campaigns, former Florida Governor Jeb Bush is raising private equity funds for oil and gas ventures. Bush, who is 61 years old, whose family made much of its fortune in Texas oil, has teamed with former Credit Suisse Group AG and Lehman Brothers Holdings Incorporated bankers to create an investment firm based in Coral Gables, Florida, according to regulatory filings disclosed last month. In April, his firm Britton Hill Holdings LLC used backing from a Chinese conglomerate to acquire a stake in a Stamford, Connecticut shipping startup seeking to capitalize on surging Asian demand for U.S. shale oil and gas.
The conventional wisdom that web users should always use strong passwords that are never repeated has been challenged in a new report. Researchers at Microsoft claim that many web users struggle to remember a long list of complex passwords. They therefore recommend that users only use strong passwords for websites that hold sensitive information, such as banking sites. For low-risk websites, such as blogs, the researchers suggest that web users divide their accounts into groups according to sensitivity and use the same memorable password for all the accounts in each group, reported by The Telegraph.
From CNN, Jose Maldonado was getting off the bus when the suspects exited a Stockton, California bank with their hostages. Police had already arrived at the Bank of the West, the witness told CNN affiliate KOVR-TV Wednesday, but authorities couldn't take out the assailants, not with their guns trained on a customer and 2 bank employees. There were 3 guys. They had 3 guns and 3 hostages, and they had the guns to the hostages' heads, Maldonado told the Sacramento TV station. They were petrified. Their faces were white. They were just scared. Climbing into a Ford Explorer belonging to one of the hostages, the robbery suspects made one of the hostages drive. Police surrounded the car, and they just couldn't shoot at them because they were so close to the hostages. They just drove right out of the parking lot, Maldonado said. The security guard who called the police had been tied up inside the bank amid frightened patrons and tellers. As the suspects fled, a 12-year-old was left stranded in the parking lot after her mother, who had gone inside to withdraw money, became one of the 3 hostages. The girl texted her father saying they took Mom. A man who identified himself as Devin J., one of the woman's cousins, told a local TV station. For the next hour, police would chase the SUV on surface streets and interstates through Lodi to Acambo, then 20 miles back to Stockton. Gunfire from a semi-automatic AK-47 type assault rifle and other weapons struck 14 of the 50 or so squad cars that gave chase. Several police cars and an assault vehicle were disabled in the chase and gunfire. What ended up happening was the mother was killed. A teen was in custody after that violent bank robbery that I just read a partial description of on the CNN website.
Former Governor Charlie Crist has selected a running mate in his bid to retake his old office. Crist yesterday introduced Annette Tadeo Goldstein as his pick for the lieutenant governor's post. Tadeo Goldstein has a solid reputation in Democratic Party circles, and her choice can be seen as a vote of confidence by the party in Crist, who is running for the office as a newly minted Democrat. Crist was a Republican until to the 2010 election, when he chose to run for U.S. Senate without party affiliation. In 2012, he changed his party affiliation to Democrat. Tadeo Goldstein has strong party credentials, which include being a vice chair of the Florida Democratic Party.
From CNN, actress Elaine Stritch, known for her brash persona, gravelly voice, and versatility over 7 decades on Broadway, died yesterday, according to a statement from her longtime friend Julie Keyes. She was 89 years old. Stritch died at her Birmingham, Michigan home early yesterday, surrounded by family. Funeral arrangements have not been made, but Stritch will be buried next to her husband, John Bay, in Chicago next week, according to her friend. All right, that's all the time we have. We have to move forward. Jim George is up next. He'll talk to you about cable and about how to protect your electronic devices from lightning and everything in between. And Robin, how many stories were we able to get out today?
22 stories.
22. All right, remember, we do this each weekday morning. If you tune in between 8:35 and 9, you'll catch up on a whole load of news, and then you can get on with your day. Right now, we have to get on with our morning. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Russian President Vladimir Putin reportedly calling on both sides fighting over Ukraine to lay down their arms and talk as the search continues through the wreckage of Malaysia Air Flight 17, which killed 298 people.
Crews in eastern Ukraine, including emergency workers, police officers, and even off-duty coal miners, searched through the miles of wreckage of the downed Malaysian airliner. Ukraine has had no access to the crash site because the area is controlled by insurgents who deny they downed the plane.
Fox Radio's Jessica Gallagher, separatists blaming the Ukrainian government.
Kiev wants an international investigation. Washington says a surface-to-air missile was used to bring the aircraft out of the sky.
The U.S. soldier once known as Bradley Manning will begin treatments to change gender. Manning, who now calls herself Chelsea, convicted of leaking national secrets. Fox News, we report, you decide.
When cologne is on sale for $3.49 a quart, you don't stock up. When scented bubble bath is on sale for $3.49 a quart, you definitely don't stock up. But now that Napa has Castrol GTX oil on sale for $3.49 a quart, you stock up your garage, your shed, maybe even your bathroom cabinets. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 7/31/14.
And now, another golf confessional brought to you by Golfsmith. To avoid spending the day on the lake, a man told his family it was infested with sharks, so he could go to Hot Deals of Summer at Golfsmith, where you'll find the lowest prices of any golf store, guaranteed. And it's on dry land. During Hot Deals of Summer, save over $110 on a Garmin S1 GPS watch. Now just $139.98. You'll know exactly how far you are from the green and save a lot too. Only at Golfsmith.
Yeehaw! Howdy, folks. RL here to invite you to DQ. Dairy Queen is serving the crispiest, juiciest, most tasty chicken tenders, all beef chili dogs, and quarter-pound cheeseburgers on earth. And you get crispy fries, a drink, and an ice cream sundae of your choice for only $5. Remember, at DQ, you can lick their cones, but you can't beat their shakes. Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed.